minute until showtime.
All right, I'm not even sure if YouTube or if Facebook is live. It's not really putting up a picture of me, but let me see if it's actually live.
Okay, well, we are definitely live on YouTube right now.
Oh, I'm sorry for YouTubers that are already watching. I'm being an idiot trying to freaking do 10 things at once. Let's see. I don't have those fancy blue screens and computers like, all those shills that you watch.
Correct. We don't have thousands of dollars that we can afford because some corporation or government entity bought it for us, or, because we're shills, because we're not shills. Now, people like Jason Goodman and other people, they are definitely shills.
Can somebody tell me on...
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, so...
Blog Talk Radio.
Don't look like it.
Well, hello and welcome back. Back to a night that was unplanned, but here we are. Jerry's with me on an unplanned night, but we're together and we got some stuff we need to talk about, so here we are. And Jerry, say hello.
Hello, everybody. I hope everybody can bear with me a second. I'm trying to get Facebook up live, and I had to be an idiot and try and redo everything at the very last minute. So that didn't work so well.
Yeah, he was trying to use that $5,000 laptop he don't have, and
Yeah.
and that $10,000 blue screen he don't have. I mean,
Okay, let's see here. We're just about there, people. Come on. Wait a minute.
Oh, well, it says we're on Facebook.
Huh?
Yeah, Jerry's live up on Facebook, and I'm live. And Jerry and I are both live on Blog Talk Radio, and we're both live up here on YouTube.
In a kind of a weird way, but we are. This is some ghetto ass shit right here. I'll tell you that.
Boots on the Ground channel? She wants to know, is it the Boots on the Ground channel?
No, it's on my Facebook, which is, I know it's already set to private, so I probably won't be able to get in. I'm already having enough trouble trying to get this stuff situated. We're just about there.
Yeah, that might be best. I mean, you may not be able to get in if you're on private over on Facebook, but certain people will. But yep, you're here already anyhow. You're up on YouTube, so.
Yeah, we're live on Facebook too now.
Okay, cool. I guess you can go ahead and start and tell them why we're here tonight, Jerry.
Well, I mean, before I just wanted to talk about the MK Ultra project because, people do not understand it whatsoever, and it's scary that they don't understand it. So I want to make sure that people get the basics of what's actually going on. Because I had somebody today ask me, well, if these MK Ultra programs are going on, all kinds of people would be coming out of the woodwork. Okay, well, they did in the 90s, and a lot of them got compensated for it. It even went to Congress. Okay? So we know this exists. But when you ask who these people are, they're right in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
Me and Bill were talking back in the day when you would watch the news. I'd hear my grandmother or aunt or something, every once in a while when you're watching the news, hey, I remember that guy. I went to school with them or whatever. But now when you watch the news, nobody knows where these people came from. And they seem to go along with the agenda and lie like you wouldn't believe. They behave like MK Ultra victims.
Yeah.
You wonder who these entertainers are? You remember the MK Ultra program was started to create the perfect Manchurian candidate. The perfect Manchurian candidate would be somebody they could pick off the street, create a split personality in them, program that split personality so that when that's needed, they can go kill a president, or they could put them in the position to be wherever they needed to do whatever they needed. But people don't also remember this. The bigger part of MK Ultra was to see how they can improve and enhance the brain. Okay? So many of these splits they created, they learned that they can teach the brain certain things, but not other things. One of the things they learned they can teach the brain is how to remember things. They can read a whole book and remember word for word, line for line. Well, where would that be essential? You ever think about movie actors? How the hell do they remember all those lines? If you've ever been to a play, a good play, not your little local rinky-dink studio or whatever community acting place or whatever. What these people remember is insane. And back in the day, it wasn't always like the way they have it in the theaters now. There were more breaks. It was an all-day affair when people went to the theater. Now people go to a theater, they see they're always in a hustle bustle. They make it so these big Broadway shows or whatever are only 2 hours long at the most, hour and a half. But these people remember all this stuff and they speak it for an hour. And sure, you could train yourself to do that, but who are the most malleable people to do that? That's an MK Ultra victim. That's why they ended up, all these people that you see in the movie, whether it's Jim Carrey, I mean, just because you hear truth from people does not mean they're on your side.
No.
It does not mean they need to control the truth. So why would they have people lying, to control them? They're going to have people tell you the truth so they can control it and then turn it. And that's what we're seeing with a lot of people.
Yeah, you see that all the time. I mean, if you really watch and pay attention, you have people like, I've said before, watch people like Alex Jones or Jason Goodman. He goes live every day. And people don't stop and think about, he's going live every day. But okay, how does he afford to have a penthouse in New York? And how does he afford to go from New York to Vegas, to California, back to Vegas, back to the penthouse in New York, back to Vegas again? If you got bills to pay, and especially in a penthouse in New York, how are you affording to do all this when you're constantly doing live feeds every day, every day, every day? And you're taking all these luxurious vacations. How are you affording to do that?
Well, I can give you one answer. And looking at his nose, he's a Jew, and most Jews just get money. I mean, look at Israel. I don't mean to be like that, but come on. People got to start waking up. Your tax dollars give the equivalent of $30,000 per year per person that lives in Israel. And you're struggling to put meat on the table, make a mortgage payment, a car payment, whatever. Mm-hmm. These people get free houses on top of it when they move to Israel. Why? Because they steal the land from the Palestinians, steal their houses. This is not something that's hidden. I mean, it's out there. And, people just don't get it. A lot of this goes back to the Kabbalah, the Kabbalah, and how that's used for spiritual, mind control and everything else with gematria and everything. It's been going along for a long time. Even Donald Trump has admitted to studying the Kabbalah. And you all think he's not part of the New World Order. Anything, he's a leader, goddammit, you fools.
He's the leading puppet right now.
Here's the thing. We know Obama was an MK Ultra victim. He was, born at Fairfield Hills Hospital, which was the MK Ultra freaking hospital. That's where the Social Security number comes from in Connecticut. He's an MK Ultra victim. And it's been pretty well known that Trump is a handler. So, when you have the deep state, who do you think's more in charge? The handler or the victim?
And that should be obvious.
Not saying he's a horrible person. I'm just saying it is what it is. And the best magicians are going to trick you.
You know, the MK Ultra victims, they don't even know they're a victim.
Oh, they have no clue.
I mean, you got sleeper cells. Jerry and I have talked about this before. Most people don't even know it. Like Kalamazoo, Michigan,
Yeah.
Newtown, Connecticut. That's just a couple.
Oh, San Bernardino is famous. They, Norton Air Force Base, they were running experiments out of there before they closed down for years. For years. That whole, freaking those whole California canyons. But nothing but MK Ultra since it's almost its inception.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So these places are everywhere. There's a place in Oregon. I mean, I forget every single name of every city, but they're out there. San Antonio is another hub. It's not a big hub, but they have a hub there. They're out there.
And when they put these people in front of you, they don't even, to them, it's norm. What they're doing is everyday life.
But that's what they made it. That's what the problem with MK Ultra people don't understand. They think it's all this tape-backed eyes and they're shooting people with electricity and doing all kinds of crazy shit. But it's more neuro-linguistics programming. Let's start off from the basics. What it takes to, have the prime ultimate MK Ultra victim. And if you read this all comes from them, not from me, not from anybody else. This comes from their own studies. It's essential for them to have a child that has a trauma before the age of 5. So they need the child to have an emotional trauma before the age of 5, which could include, parents dying in a car wreck. It could include that parents were fighting and the state came in and took the kids. A baby being taken away from a mother is a traumatic event. Okay. And this is why, another reason why we don't have to just worry about the pedophiles. The fact that, the pedophiles are, that's one of the behaviors they create in some of these MK Ultra victims. That way they can blame the pedophile. He's just a pedophile. Let's throw him in jail and lock him up or whatever. And that may be the case, but that doesn't mean they didn't create him that way. Okay. So we have to be really concerned about the way the state is taking so many kids. Now, a child should never be in a position where their life's in jeopardy, where their life's in danger, where, something bad can happen to that child. And we do need, good social services to be around to help in certain situations. But the problem is we're finding out that there's more bad being done through DHS and social services and everything else than good. So what do? It's a really bad situation. But, people got to understand MK Ultra. They say it died in 1993 with the congressional hearings. It never went anywhere. It just changed its name. It studied more sub-projects. They literally had all kinds of MK Ultra projects, even projects with marijuana, you name it. They've done everything you can imagine for brain control. So yeah, they've pretty much figured it out. Then if you just look up the patents on different electrical devices that they, techniques, that stuff is out there too. We don't have to worry about just, brainwashing coming from our social engineering or anything else. We're stepping into a new doorway where we're going to have to worry about microwaves, God knows what else. And it's, and if people don't understand how controlled they really are, we're in some serious shit, Bill.
Oh, yeah. People don't understand how controlled these people really are. And these people don't even know they're controlled. So they can put them up on television. They can be your news anchor. They can be the person reporting the fluffing stuff to you.
It's not they can be, Bill. They are. That's the
exactly.
problem. People don't understand this. They are. I've heard statistics up to 100%, but I think it's more like maybe 70 or 80%.
Yeah, it's the main people feeding you your BS on your media. At one time, I can give you an example. Fox News. There was a story that these two reporters went out and did, and it was a female and a male. And they have to turn their story into their boss. They're not allowed to just air their story. Their boss has to go through it. Well, the boss went through it and manipulated it, changed it, turned it into BS. And these two reporters got pissed off. No, we're not doing that. We want the truth. And no, and it became big controversy, a big argument. They wound up quitting because they were going to be fired. I
remember that, yeah.
Yep, they wound up quitting because they would not, the boss would not turn the tail, and he did not want the truth out there, and it had to be propaganda. It had to be propaganda. So they walked away. They quit their job. Well, this is one of the reasons they are using mind control victims now so that they don't have to have somebody that recognizes the truth and will just go right along with it. No problem. No problem.
Well, I think people don't even realize. I mean, they kind of snuck in and replaced our news. You know, there was always, you know, growing up, there were three newsmen. Yeah, like, you know, Dan Rather, whoever else and whoever else. They're always just your three basics, and they were there every night. Now you have so many different people, and none of these experienced people. You have nobody with experience. You know, the only one that has like some supposed experience is Wolf Blitzer, that's been around forever. And this guy told the whole world his parents died in the Holocaust, but yet he was born 3 years after the war ended. So, well, and people can't even figure this shit out.
Well, you know, it's easier to be born by your dead mother than it is by your live mother.
We must have hit one of those stargates or something the Nazis were working
on. I just had to be sarcastic to say that.
You know, let's clear some shit up about Donald Trump and his time traveling and all that shit. All right. I don't know. I've said it many times before. It comes down to Donald Trump's Uncle John Trump, MIT professor, was hired by the FBI to review Tesla's papers when Tesla died. And that's what he did. And that's when the Tesla papers went missing. Donald Trump's Uncle John, who he got the J in Donald J. Trump, went on to invent the resistor, which is basically Tesla technology.
Yeah, he actually didn't invent it.
Co-founded the transistor. Right. Here's the thing: is it was kind of like a thing where he kind of not really worked on it, but worked on it and was in charge of it. But these other people invented it. Yeah, one of those deals.
Exactly. So you know, Tesla invented it. Tesla died. He stole Tesla's work and claimed and claimed I invented it when he never invented nothing.
No. And you want to go to, you know, well, people say, well, he doesn't, you know, he's not tied to eugenics or anything else like that. You know, bullshit. Donald Trump is part of one of the biggest eugenics programs out there. Chemotherapy. His Uncle John Trump was basically he invented chemotherapy. Another thing he tried to keep his name out of.
You see what our comment is there in blue here says that there's a Trump's son Barron was a time traveler.
Yeah, you know, I think Trump's son is partially autistic. You know, I tell you what, I see a good heart in Barron Trump. I don't ever talk bad about Barron Trump because I think he should be left out of it. You know, he's a child, and we should never, you know, drag the children into bullshit. And especially if he is partially autistic or something like that, he needs to be left out of it. He needs to be left out of the politics. He needs to be treated with respect. And, you know, even if people have something bad about him to say or even something, you know, I prefer not to talk about Barron Trump because, you know, I've seen video of him and I don't see like a horrible human being. I see somebody that seems very intelligent but may have some, you know, issues and whatnot. And I think he should be respected. Yeah. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it with Barron Trump.
Well, I agree with Jerry totally because you got to understand, first off, he's a child and it's not his fault who he's born to.
No, it's not.
Okay, so you can't blame him for who he's born to and say, oh, he's blah, 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 because no, he's not. He's a child.
You know, and to say anything I've studied, you know, really examining everything from his walk to his talk to everything about that child, I think he's probably got the purest heart of them all in his whole family. To be honest with you. And that's my feeling. People can say something different, but my feeling is that, you know, there's something special about that kid. And, you know, if he's not a horrible kid, even if there's nothing special about him, he should be left alone. You know, he's just trying to be a kid, you know.
You know, it's just, it's wrong. You can't, drag somebody's child into this because their parents are evil pieces of shit.
Yeah. Well, there's another problem too. We know they've been going after for the new MK Ultra program or whatever they're calling it now. It's way beyond Monarch, it's whatever it is now. Whatever some project it is, they've been going off after parents with autistic kids. They've been trying to get these autistic kids. Why? I'm not 100% sure. It could be because their brains work in a different way, or they're really smart, or whatever it is. But they are going after and programming these kids with autism. Well, and that scares me to death, because, whether they're autistic or have Asperger's syndrome or whatever it may be, kids don't deserve to be experimented on. That was one of my biggest problems I had with, investigating the Kalamazoo Uber shooting, is they had this young girl, Abigail, caught. And I knew what they said didn't happen, especially to where Abigail was, because the police had the area cordoned off before the shooting even happened. So Abigail could not have gotten shot where they said she did. Okay? And then I've done the research on the Kalamazoo Hospital, and they have a long history with, experimenting with lobotomies on just experimental patients. And we find about these newer lobotomist doctors that have been working in Kalamazoo, and then this girl's got half her brain missing. It scares me to death what they did to this child, because God knows, we don't even know if her parents are really her parents. There is no evidence whatsoever of it. And it's scary.
It is. They take the children and use them for guinea pigs for their own stuff. They've been
and then they flaunt it in our face.
They do. They flaunt it in your face. They've been working on mind control for neons. When supposedly MK Ultra got shut down, it never got shut down. They just changed the name and went right on.
Yeah. You got to think about this. Let's say you're a brainwasher. You got, your name. You got your company that brainwashes people. Joe Smith's Brainwashing. What's going to be your first procedure when you get a hold of somebody at Joe Smith's Brainwashing? You're going to brainwash them to not know that they're brainwashed.
Well, you're not going to hardly tell anybody, well, look, I'm going to brainwash you and get by with brainwashing them because they're going to be aware of it. They brainwash the masses. The majority of the masses out here that are brainwashed aren't MK Ultra, but they were brainwashed just the same because your television set, your music, your books, your magazines, your school system, everything surrounding you. Because all brainwashing is to be able to change the mindset of somebody and get them to believe in something that's not so.
Oh, listen, it's been proven that, certain frequencies, certain tones, tones that you can't even hear, or images you can't even see if they flash them up on your screen when they're behind a movie or whatnot, can actually create basically like microscopic tears in your matter, in the black matter of your brain. Or they're not black matter, whatever you call it. I must have been torn too much in my brain. But anyways, into your brain matter. And those scarring is where, if programming comes in right after that instantaneous microscopic, because you got to remember, everything's a frequency. You're taking in light frequencies. Those are pulses of light that come in packets. Light travels in packets. It doesn't come in a straight line. It comes in a packet. So their frequencies going to put it right into your eyeballs.
Yep. Luke Skywalker says, "Who's talking?" That's Jerry, Luke. And he says, "Have you ever seen the movie They Live?" Yeah, with Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
Yes, that movie is basically based on a reality in your face, and you don't even know it. At least most people.
In some cases, it is.
Yeah.
And right back to what I'm saying is, when light packets in that frequency, there's energy within that frequency. So that light is received into your, into your eyeballs, into your frontal cortex, everything else. And those pulses are creating tears. You're also getting that programming coming in right up behind it. And, bam, voila, you're programmed. It don't take much. People don't understand that. That's why they have all these shills out there, because they need you to get you tied up in the bullshit so you don't find out what's really going on. They want you to focus on so many other things. Well, they slip in all this other bullshit. You're chasing the same goddamn people that we already know do this, so and they're not getting in trouble. Whether you're chasing Michael Chertoff or Soros or Hillary or whatever, you've been chasing them for bullshit for years, and you keep on being told they're going to be arrested. This is going to happen, that is going to happen to them, and nothing ever happens to them. When are you going to wake up and see all they do is continuously cry wolf and train your brain while you're falling for the wolf cry?
That's exactly what they do. You know, programming is the real key because that's what they've done. Why do you think they call it a program? Hey, let's watch that program on TV.
Program.
It's all programming. And people or human beings are like computers. We're very programmable. And the younger you are, the easier it is to program.
And not only that, we're at an age of technology where it's getting so advanced. They can literally write programs to program us without them even doing anything. Just here, artificial intelligence, we need to program people to do this. We're getting close to that. And if people don't take note and understand that we need to figure out a way that we can take at least control of our society, at least put a lock on the control that we already have. We're up shit's creek. There is no turning back after this. When they talk about Moore's law and technology, coming to that singularity, I do believe singularity already happened. Because you got to remember, how many times have we been told from Bill Cooper or anybody else that the technology that they have, the deep state, whatever you want to call them, the black projects, is 50, 100 years in advance.
That's it.
So why are we looking at AI like it is, going on today that we see in there? If they said we're 50 years behind, that shit's already out there. We're only seeing the bullshit to dance around.
Exactly. And meanwhile, you don't know this technology is already out there and they're using the technology as a weapon against you.
And a lot of people, it does happen to. But that's part of strengthening your mind, is understanding these things. That's the thing is, I always say, I could be a victim to this. If I watch this or do like that, I'm taking the chance to be, to change my way of thinking or something by an outside influence. And that helps protect me because as long as I have knowledge that I could be influenced by something, it allows my mind to build up a wall to protect me from that happening. And people, they tell us to tear down the wall, all that shit. All right, well, you know what? In some cases, you have to build up a wall because we're at a point in the, you don't build up a mental wall for certain things, you're going to be a victim to certain things.
You will.
Do you ever think that all these people from whether you like to hear it or not, as much as I love Pink Floyd and everybody else, they're a creation of the Tavistock Institute. You think that their shit isn't fucking for programming people in some certain way? You're full of it if you think that. You have to acknowledge it.
You need to acknowledge that and understand that there's not many people you can listen to or actually trust.
No. What I tell you today, Bill, I was telling people for a while, Scott Binsack was bullshit because I can just see it. And then he slips up today. I can't play the clip because I don't even know how. My low tech on. The guy's sitting there with all kinds of technology, came out of nowhere, sitting there and lying to people blatantly, and people don't get it, and they're following him. And he slips up and tells people he's a federal FBI asset, and people still don't even get it.
Yeah, and if he's an FBI asset, that means he's actually working for the FBI.
He's an asset.
Exactly.
When Bill looked up his stuff, what did it say on his donation page? You ain't getting no refund.
Yeah.
No matter what. Your money's stolen, basically.
Well, it's no different, and so he's told on himself, okay? Monty Graff told on himself. And most people don't even catch it. Monty Graff openly told on himself, okay? He told a little bit about his past and who he's worked for. He said it straight out, and I've got it, I've kept it. And I got more than one clip where Monty Graff has actually told on himself. And that's just it. These agencies, whether it's the FBI, Raytheon, or whoever it is, they're paying these people, well, Raytheon's got it right on their website. Cybersecurity. To protect us against cybersecurity. In today's world, that only spells out one thing. to protect them from the real truth getting out.
Cybersecurity, the only thing cybersecurity does is protects the government from its people.
Exactly.
That's all that is.
That's
You know,
all.
I mean, just listen to McAfee talk about it. You know, he saw that, and the reason why he left the business is because he was seeing them use his software to create viruses, so people would buy the software.
Yep, then people buy the software to protect against what they create.
Yeah, and they got you.
You got it. They create the problem, give you something to defend yourself against the problem they created. Meanwhile, you're giving your money to them.
You know, and that's the thing too is, you know, when I lost the house and the police raided and everything else, if anybody donated, let me see, I saved all your names. When I somehow get back to a place, you know, hopefully that happens, I always promise I'm giving that back with interest, because you cannot be in the truth game and want money. I feel guilty about asking money for, you know, a couple bucks of gas to go down to the Sandy Hook protest, which I'm probably going to be the only one there, because people are lazy as fuck.
You know, and I would love to be there. I can't promise it because of finances, you know.
I know you're sure. But it's just, you know, there's going to be a couple of people there, I know, and I don't mean to disregard the people that are going, because there are some great people going. I'm not going to mention their names because I don't think about their names much, but, you know, those are some great people. And when we do this, and those people are protesting, we need to freaking, you know, send them the thanks. Because, you know, here's the thing, whether we accomplish anything or nothing, the fact that at least I and the people that are going to be there can go through the rest of their lives knowing that they tried, they did something.
That's exactly.
And that's going to make a difference in my life, and that's going to make a difference, I think, in their life, because they're going to at least be able to. You choking, Blizzy? You okay? You okay?
I would like to get some posters and some information put together, and print up a whole bunch of them. Get this little packet put together on Sandy Hook Elementary School. And on the day that Jerry's down there having a protest, if I can't make it, I'll be down here at the grocery store passing this shit out.
Yes, I did. I'm drinking out of the same cup that Blizzy drank out of. I don't care what you think. This is pure, clean spring water. Healthy for me and Blizzy. It probably kills any germs that she's got or I got, so we ain't hurting each other.
Yeah, it's family member.
I know I can get some comments about that. You know, Jerry be drinking dog water. And then on the other video, I ate dog food to show people how to prep. I'm gonna get nailed for this shit.
Now hold on, Blizzy knows he's a human. He knows he became human. He can't be a dog no more. I say that about my cat all the time. My cat knows it's a human now. It's proud to be a people.
Yeah, she's spoiled. She knows she's got it. But you know, those are the things we gotta, you know. I know I made a big push today, Ben. You know, about it being okay to be angry at all these people that are doing these things. But that doesn't mean you still can't have love in your heart for things you love. You know, I love Blizzy, so I'm always gonna love Blizzy. You know, I love Bill. He's like a brother. And you know, but people also need to recognize, you know, how closely this New Age movement was tied to the MK Ultra program. So people need to understand, and like I said in a video today, it's okay to want bad things to happen to Henry Kissinger. It's perfectly fine to, you know, want George Soros, to whatever. It's perfectly fine. You don't have to feel guilty about that. These people are horrible psychopaths. They are killing people every day. And whether it's Bill Gates with his vaccines, another one is Warren Buffett, how much he supported all this stuff through the back door. His wife is known as the Oracle. Tell me they're not into the cult shit. Prince died on his plane. The alleged hijacker was trained at his pilot training school. The guy's involved. He's probably one of the most evil ones. And let me tell you something, the ones that are super secret, where do you think the hidden hand's coming from?
Yeah.
You know, when he gives away all this money that could have went to his kids, that means he cares more about the murder through the vaccine programs and the murder of Africans more than he cares about giving money to his children.
Oh, that's correct. You know, Luke Skywalker said, "Well, it looks like Charlie Sheen molested Corey Hellman." Okay, well, Corey
What
Feldman,
about the?
Hellman. Well, even if Charlie Sheen did, there's a problem in Knoxville here because Corey Feldman came out and posted a video up, and the guy wants $10 million to make a movie to defend the kids. Why ain't he just giving the names of the people who's done this stuff?
You know, he's playing a game. You know, it's I can understand not wanting to die or whatever, but looking at him, you got to remember he didn't make it in Hollywood if he wasn't.
Okay,
listen,
he says not Feldman, he says Corey Helm.
Well, they both are MK Ultra. You got to remember, they didn't. Once the part of, how do you put a child, that doesn't have their parents die or anything like that? How do you put them through emotional trauma at 5 years old? You put them in a room with a pedophile, and they'll be emotional trauma real quick. Next thing you know, that's all it takes. So, you read the books about these top CIA people that did quit because they couldn't live with the fact that they were getting children to put politicians, actors, and all these people in fucked up positions. It's just reality.
And they'll do this with politicians up in Congress. Somebody gets their way into Congress they don't feel should be there, they're going to set them up.
And it's always a dance. It's never a conviction. Let's lead people this way. We know they're all on top of this, so let's tire them out with a long, drawn-out drama story. Then they give up on it, and they'll move on to the next one. We'll get something else going.
Yep,
and they just dance people around. Dance them around. It's a constant shell game.
Well, the Clintons are fucking evil as shit. Okay, staying amongst society says Bill Clinton is a rapist that's been verified. Well, he'll get by with it.
Here's the thing: is most people know that Bill Clinton is gay. That's been that's the thing is people don't even research this stuff. If you research this stuff, you'd realize that Bill Clinton, is allegedly gayer than Obama, and his real name is William Blythe. Okay, and they adopted, and one of our listeners last Sunday reminded me of that. I mean, people need to understand the Clinton family, the real Clinton family from New York City, or New York State, rather. And it goes way back, and they got their hands tied into everything. They are part of the deep state family, or whatever, secret family in America. Okay? And Monica Lewinsky, she was a Rhodes Scholar like Bill Clinton. Part of being a Rhodes Scholar is basically, you're somebody that goes along with globalism. Not saying that Bill Clinton hasn't raped women before or whatnot, but from what I understand, the Monica Lewinsky story was manufactured. You know what? People don't have to believe everything. You know what? YouTube Naomi Wolf.
Naomi Wolf, yep.
People just don't get it.
No, they fall right into it.
Well, the show is bigger than what people think. They think it's, the deep state this. There's Republicans in that. There's, liberals, the Clintons on that. They're fighting this people, these people. It's all one big production. All one giant production constantly being acted out in front of your face. And people just, you can call me crazy, you can call me whatever you want, but study it, get deep into what has happened in this country, find the right people that have the right information, and then come back and call me a liar. Do that.
Monica Lewinsky is a willing participant. These women that go along, prolong their career are not
victims. Yeah, but no. He's still not getting it. It was an act. It never, it was, if he did it, it was just like a show. She might have did it just for the fun or whatever, but she didn't care. Like you said, yeah, I'm basically a willing participant. But we don't even know. As far as we know, that never even happened. The whole Dixon, what?
Most of the stuff is an act, okay? Let's go. I don't know how many people remember this movie. The movie's name was Sybil. And they told you it was based on a true life story. This is how they got you. Because they told you it was based on a true life story, when in reality, it was a Hollywood scripted act and it was never a true life story at all.
But it was based on reality of experimenting they were doing where?
MK Ultra.
Yeah, Kalamazoo, Michigan. Look up the story. It was Sybil was written by a doctor at the Kalamazoo Hospital, mental hospital, and it was all out of Kalamazoo based on the experimenting that was going on there.
Mm-hmm.
So MKO, I mean, that's why people say, yeah, there ain't no going on, experimenting going on in Kalamazoo. Okay, yeah, learn about the truth about Sybil. You'll find out that shit's been going on there for a long time. A long time.
Wow, that's one of the reasons they run Jerry out of there.
Yeah, fast. Somebody that knew Sandy Hook like the back of his hand and wasn't under their programming and then fucking learned everything that they were doing there.
Well, yeah, Luke Skywalker.
I get why they came after me.
I don't think you get what Jerry's telling you, and he's correct about what he's telling you. You cannot be a victim to something that never happened. If they do a Hollywood act in front of you, and then they put the freaking Hollywood act on all over the media, and they tell you this happened even if it was just a script, I mean, do you think these movies, these actors are really doing what is in the movie? That it's a reality? No, it's a fantasy, it's an act, it's a script. And what do you think they do with the media? All your news channels are scripted. They're acts, they're bullshit stories. They got their think tanks they pay to sit down and write these stories for you. Then they put them on articles, they put them all over the internet, they put them all over your television set, they put them in your books and your magazines and make you believe it's real when it's not. So now finding the real truth can become a real challenge because you're looking for the needle in the haystack.
Did you watch that video today where I spoke about, I put it either last night or today, about the casting call that I went with my friend in Newtown?
I do believe. It was yesterday.
And that's why if people didn't watch it, I was talking to, because I went to high school in Derby. Derby High School is, it's not far away from Sandy Hook at all.
Yeah, it's just right up the road from Sandy Hook, technically.
Right down the road, yeah. And this was after high school, and I think it was either the same year after high school, the year after that. I don't know what I remember. It was somewhere around there, or it could have been the summer at the end of high school. But he called me up and said, want to be in a movie? So I said, whatever. He said they were gonna pay like $50 for extras or something like that. Well, he drives me out to Newtown, right? And I was going to say, but I don't want to put too much information about there because I can use that against people. But that's a good one that I got. I totally forgot about that. That's the crazy thing is I had totally forgotten about this casting call because when I was younger, going to Newtown with my friend, to go on a casting call, I never went in because the line was too long. I'm not, one for standing in long lines. But he went in, and, for me, I didn't even realize, wait a second. Sandy Hook is part of Newtown, and that's the only place I've ever really gone to where they were doing a casting call. Right there in the Newtown town halls where they did the casting call. So apparently these people have connection to people in the movies. If you're sitting there casting for a movie right out of the town hall,
Well, State is saying amongst us, Sandy says the world is insane. Well, he's correct about that. The world is insane.
But it's not their fault. It's not your fault. People got to understand it. The insanity, the craziness that you feel like that may be going on in your mind or that's out there in the world, it's not you. It's the rest of the world. And not even saying everybody else. Society has been sickened by these evil people. It doesn't matter whether you want to call them evil elite, this or that. They would love for you to keep on calling them Illuminati, and they love for these names to get, passed up because you're not naming names so much. Soros is old and new. He's always been a fall guy. You think he's behind all this shit? No, he's just a front man. But he's still a scumbag because he's doing it.
Yeah, he's a scumbag and he's out here doing it, but he's not the actual person behind it. How do you think, he may be rich, but he's still not the one behind it?
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys, okay, I was saying brought up Gene Rosen, star actor. That's correct. Actor.
I don't know if he's a star actor, but he's definitely an actor.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call him a star, maybe, but definitely
and
an
if you
actor.
look at a picture of Gene Rosen, he looks an awful lot like that Stephen Paddock guy. They probably took a picture of Gene Rosen and altered it a little bit. Matter of fact, who knows? We haven't seen Gene Rosen in a while, have we? That'd be interesting we haven't. To see if he's around, because he's supposed to be doing court this month. So, wouldn't be surprised if he ends up missing. That's the thing about this. People think, whether even if you're not brain control, you're gonna make a fortune off of crisis acting, or whatever, and do all these, things that are basically evil on society, and take part in these things.
Well, the sad thing is, even like at school, saw Luke Skywalker, I don't think still don't get it quite. The feminist movement government have controlled women because they are the easiest brainwashed.
No, he never studied the feminist movement. Then here's the thing: if you study it, you go far back through the transcendental movement, and then how they're connected with Lord Byron and what's her name? Shit, they wrote Einstein there. What's her name? Whatever. It was an Illuminati thing. That there was always a feminist thing, but that's where that shit developed. Okay. And let me tell you something, those members, you got to remember, if an idea of feminism is coming out of people like Lord Byron, who was the biggest predator out there of the time, people might want to, understand that a lot of these things that you think are, for one purpose, are basically just psyops. People think psyop is a new thing. They did this shit. The Quakers were famous for being in psyops. Go on a Google map. Find the closest church to the CIA in Langley. There's a big Quaker church right in the fucking in Langley. The Quakers have always been involved in psyops. So have the Seventh-day Adventists. So have the Mormons. So have all these different little cults and groups.
And then the brainwashing, saying that the women's easiest brainwashed would be a wrong statement, because everybody's been brainwashed.
I think it's actually, they have a system. It numbers people from 1 through 5, and it has nothing to do with gender. It's based on the number. Some people are more susceptible to brainwashing than others. And from what I understand, people like Marilyn Monroe were number 5s. Okay, and so it has nothing to do. They don't even, if you're on paper and they choose the categories of what would, make somebody, easier and malleable or whatever. It has nothing to do with gender. It has to do with your number. If you're a 4 or 5, you have more potential to be one of their victims. Mm-hmm. If you're a 1 or 2, then they're going to waste less time on you because they know it's not, the chances of it taking ain't going to work.
But
that's from their own writing.
Yeah.
That's not from me.
But what they did use the feminist movement for was to divide the genders.
Yeah.
That was a great tool to divide the genders.
And a lot of this stuff is eugenics. It's literally, the more they divide, eugenics and control and all this bullshit. And people got to understand it's all bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, you got the women, everybody was lied to. I mean, come on. Go back and they'll tell you, the feminists will say, well, the men denied us the right to vote. Well, the problem was it wasn't the men who stopped them from voting, because the only people that could vote at the one time was just the wealthy and the landowners.
Which had nothing to do with women.
Yeah, which means it never had anything to do with women, and there was every bit as many men that couldn't vote as there was women. The reason you have the big misconception with the feminist movement is because they've used it as a tool to divide the genders.
Well, people don't understand this. I mean, and the best example is George Washington. Okay, George Washington's father and then his grandfather they're all famous for marrying wealthy women. And back in those times, a man, when he married a woman, everything that woman owned reverted to that man. So George Washington, when he first came to America, he couldn't even vote. But when he married a wealthy woman like he did, all that wealth came to him, and there you go.
Yeah.
Just like that, he married into it. What was it wrong to the women? Had to transfer their shit to, yeah. But people got to understand what happened, because you can't say, well, this what happened for this reason and that happened for that reason, if you don't even understand what happened. If you don't understand the true history, if you don't understand the true history, especially about George Washington, where he's a murdering scumbag, about the assassinations in the Ohio woods, about all the what was it, 200 and something or 180 free African slaves that he just had his guys practice shooting on to kill them all. People need to understand history. That it's because here's the thing: the more I look up stuff, the stuff that I've researched, they're scrubbing it more and more every day.
Well, they are.
Print stuff down.
They've told so many lies. That's the problem. And then they get a whole groups of people that fall for a lie, and then that group of people fights against another group of people, and they get the division. And then and it's okay. Like Luke Skywalker says, why are genders divided? Because of women. No, it's not because of one gender.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: if you were a woman, what would you think? You would think the genders are divided because I'm a man.
Exactly. The women will blame the men will blame the women.
Nobody ever wants to blame themselves, and that's the whole thing about being a victim, is thinking that you cannot be a victim. That makes you a victim, because you're not recognizing how you can be hurt. So how do you defend yourself from that? And then other people are trained that they're automatically going to be hurt, so they build a defense wall in a total opposite direction. That it kind of works in the same way. It's all just deception. It's showing one thing in the hand over here, and it's actually in the hand over here. These people are Kabbalists. Their whole life is practicing magic and Kabbalah and Gematria to fool the world. And they've been doing it forever.
Yeah. Literally, they've been doing it for so many years, it's not even funny. Decades and decades.
What do you think the secret knowledge is all about? You think it's more about deception than it is about, ancient technologies and this and that?
For the masses.
It's about controlling the knowledge that they do have.
Yep. They don't want the people to have the actual knowledge. You're not allowed to have the actual knowledge.
Tesla tried to tell the world about 0-point energy 100 years ago. And they made sure to hide that and go into oil, to control people, which is not even a fossil fuel. I'm not going to even explain the story anymore because it's so basic. And if people don't understand it, all these basic stories that people don't even understand about history and how they've been lied to, it's bizarre. But think about this. The deepest fossil, microscopic molecule of any fossil on this planet has never been found more than 14,000 feet. They dig oil at 40, 30, 40,000 feet every single day. And there's not one microscopic fossil in it. So what is it? It's not freaking fossil fuel. But people can't accept it.
I think oil is actually a lubricant that this planet needs.
It is. It makes sense to me. Like I said, the Earth is like an engine. It's like, it's moving parts. It can get hot. It can get cold. Things rub up against each other. Water bashing in this and that. All kinds of things moving and shaking. If you got something like that, the best thing to do is put a little oil on there and make sure that it doesn't fall apart. We're sucking it out. Here's the thing is, I'm against climate change because they're lying about it, but I also believe we need to stop taking the oil because the Earth might need it. It has nothing to do with climate change. The Earth might actually need it because we don't even know what the fuck it is.
And we got other technologies, but they don't want to release them. But they're slowly moving away from oil.
Oh, it's gonna be speeding up. You know, that's why they're going these lithium veins in Afghanistan and Peru and everywhere else, and they're getting bought up like crazy, and they're fighting for them. They're going to steal all this lithium. You know, China's got a shitload of lithium. You know, that whole area over there. That's why. Why do you think? You know, they're building these empty cities and everything else because all the Zionists that raped and pillaged this country after they came here after World War II, after they raped and pillaged Germany. If you actually study the story about Germany, they came here and they came in Russia. And they raped and pillaged Russia. They raped and pillaged here. Now they're going to go over there. They're going to rape and pillage China.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what these Mongols do because that's what they are. That's what Sumerians are. Mongols, Khazars.
Well, they are, well, it's sad because I understand Luke Skywalker when he says, well, men are killing themselves because they are miserable and women think things are fine. Do you got to understand that's part of the division? That's part of the programming.
You're allowed, yeah. I mean, you can't allow yourself to be a victim. Now, understand that this is happening, accept it, and say this is not going to happen to me.
That's because women have been told they're the victims. And when you look around in today's society, what do we see? We see a victim mentality. And all these people want to be a victim for attention because they're messed up. The programming has completely messed people up. And that was done deliberately.
It has.
That's why, when Staying Insane Amongst Insanity says we're living in an insane asylum. Well, technically,
yeah, and then that's what I'm trying to say. It's not that, it's not your fault that we're living in an insane asylum. It's nobody's fault. This was created by them.
Exactly.
And that's the thing is people are blaming themselves. They're blaming, whatever the other side of the division is, when it's not. It's, it's these same people that have been doing it over and over again.
That's
over
it.
Over and over again.
That's why I'm always trying to point out the root cause, but nobody wants to go after that. Men's rights activists spent years showing you symptoms. And the minute I bring up a root cause, everybody turns their back and looks the other way. Nobody wants to hear anything about the root cause. Nobody wants to talk about solutions. Well, you can't fix something if you're not willing to look for solutions, and you can't fix it if you don't know what the cause is. Because a symptom isn't a cause. He came up here tonight, MK Ultra. That is a cause.
I want to thank Rosa big time. I'm not going to mention what it was, but just helped me get to Sandy Hook protest. And thank you, big time. Thank you. That means a lot. It does.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do that, and thank you. That I mean, just knowing that's going to be a little less struggle to get there. Thank you.
Well, the Sandy Hook thing does need to come out, and you need this protest. We need people to start taking a look at what's going on.
More than the protest, I want to make people aware because so many people don't even know they're putting up a permanent memorial. I mean, if all these people that are in the truth community and all these people that are seeking truth and everybody actually understood that they're putting up, here's the thing. How are they not mad? How are you not mad that they're putting up a memorial for this? I mean, people should be outraged. We were deceived and lied to, and they're going to put up a permanent memorial stamping the lie as truth for future to see. I mean, that's disgusting. That's one thing that just angers me to death, Bill, that they're doing this. It's so disgusting. And people don't understand how they can be lied to about so much stuff right in front of your face.
Right in front of your
face. Any history book they're writing right now, any Wikipedia, wherever you go, the narrative on all these false flags or whatever it is, they're not even hinting at the truth.
I mean, how many of you people know about Charlotte Iserbyt? Do you even know who Charlotte Iserbyt is?
Yeah.
Do you realize that this gal was during the Ronald Reagan administration years and years ago? She was the head of the school board in the United States up in a high position. Do you realize she wrote a book about what they were doing? Do you know that after World War II, The
I
government.
think she was an assistant to the Secretary of Education.
Yeah. And after World War II, the government stepped into the school system and took all of the history books out and replaced them. Now, why would you replace the history books? Because you wrote a bunch of lies and you don't want this certain stuff told to the people no more. That's why. And how many people in this chat room was actually alive during World War II right now?
And then, they plan this stuff perfectly. If you read anything about the Jewish Talmudic traditions and their cycles, how they do things, which their next cycle is coming up at 2020, either 2020 or 2030. So we're not far away from their next, whatever they're going to do, astronomically, huge, because they're behind all this shit. But they make sure that the people that could remember it are pretty much all gone. Think about your grandparents or anybody that might have been alive during World War II. Not many of them are left that even remember the truth. And they've been so brainwashed, if they were, because they were young at the time, they were brainwashed to lie. There's very few people that you can really get the truth from.
That's it.
Very few.
And most of the people died off. That's why they, it's like every 100 years or so. They flip things because they want people to die off so that they can't educate somebody else to what really happened. That's part of the deception. And that's one of the reasons, and I understand. When Luke Skywalker says he's 37, he wasn't alive then. Neither was I.
Yeah.
And that's just it. There's a reason they took the history books out of the school system after World War II.
My grandmother was Jewish, and she used to tell me how all the Jews lie. They laugh at you. That's the worst part. If you've ever been around a Jewish community, they call you goy, basically call you shit. They, everybody that's not one of them is going to be their slave, and it's okay to shit on. They're trained since children that it's okay to rob you, lie to you, and all this stuff. And all you have to do is, read their own writings. But nobody takes the time to do that. They'd rather listen to their pastor or their, book that was created by these people to believe. So you're believing the people that traditionally lie, tell you they're lying to you, and you still believe them.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
Well, you got people that says, well, I read books and hardly anybody reads books, so I know I'm getting the truth. No, you're not. What do you think?
What do you think they're going to publish?
From? They're not going to publish truth.
No. Thank God for self-publishing. You can get a little bit of truth out there nowadays.
It's not that you can't get truth out of publishing, but you got to be careful what you're reading.
Yeah.
Because there's as much lies in the books as there is everything else.
You have people like good book actually to read, because they tell you that this is what's going on. It's Tragedy and Hope by Carol Quigley. Carol Quigley was Bill Clinton's mentor and professor at Georgetown. He was also the historian, the scribe for the CFR, the Council on Foreign Relations. And he sat there and wrote about how we're going to design the two parties to be very similar but have certain major differences so they can continuously bicker and people will take sides. But our main goals will be the same. So it doesn't matter what side you're on. You're an idiot because you didn't even read the book that tells you they're freaking lying to you.
Well, for years, anybody talked about the Council on Foreign Relations. Oh, that don't exist. You're a nut. You're a conspiracy theorist. And now they're openly telling you in their face.
Well, here's the thing: is they can get away with openly telling people because, even when they do, nobody does anything.
That's it.
Who does anything? I'm not bragging or anything like that. But what other person on YouTube or anywhere else has actually said they want to stop what's going on?
That's it.
Do
you ever
hear
anybody
want it to stop?
Yeah. Do you hear anybody ever say they want to stop what's going on?
Once.
Do you hear anybody come up with an idea or try to beat their heads on ideas of how we can change and stop what's going on?
And it's not like my ideas are the best, but at least I want to try something because I'm tired of sitting here, writing memes, showing memes. Okay, this was fake, that was fake, this is bullshit, that's bullshit. when I'm getting nothing, we're getting absolutely nothing done in a positive forward motion to at least, take a step to say, hey, no, you guys got to stop this. If nobody says no, to them, we're just saying yes.
That's it. The people are too scared. Isn't that what we saw the last time I was up here with Jerry on Sunday? Isn't that what we saw somebody say? Where people are scared. They're scared they might get killed. What do you think that you got the freedom you enjoyed all these years because somebody didn't die to allow you that freedom? Because somebody fought back? It's just like... Go ahead, Jerry.
No, I mean, this has always happened throughout history. Every time they've tried to take too much control, people have, in one way or another, rose up to a point, okay? Then they end up overturning those people that rose up and controlling them again, and it goes through another cycle. But here's the thing. If we don't step up to the plate and do the part that our ancestors did to stop them, even if they are going to end up taking it over anyways, we're fucked. You might as well just tell your kid, yeah, you know what? Hey, you're getting poisoned by chemtrails, GMOs. Yeah, who cares? Man, you know what? Let the vaccines kill you. You know what? I'm not going to do nothing. I don't care about you. Man, you know what? Go let yourself be brainwashed to the point where you can't even freaking, mumble anymore with your video games or whatever else. Just don't care and see what happens. There's always been a time in history where people actually stepped up to the plate, and I don't see a goddamn person stepping up to the plate. Goddamn, tell me one. Somebody stepping up to the plate. That's not tied to bullshit.
That's exactly it. And and our Blue says,
come on,
says scared, or they just don't care. Well, you know what? That would be a correct statement. You have the percentage that are scared and the percentage who just don't care.
Yeah, you gonna say hi? Yeah, you can barely get your head up there. All right. Yeah, your head. She thought I was young. She don't like it when I get angry.
Viewers might be experiencing minor issues.
Huh?
Okay, I've got orange for my stream health, and my stream health for YouTube says viewers might be experiencing minor issues.
That sounds like they don't like. That's the funny thing. As soon as I say, "Oh, let's fight back," as soon as I say, "Let's fight back" and actually do something, bing, shut them off.
Oh, can't have that.
Can't have somebody actually talking about doing something.
Nope, couldn't allow that.
I hope that didn't. They still got you blocked down or what?
Well, I still got the feed. It just says our stream health went from green, which is good, to orange, which says that people may be experiencing minor issues.
So in other words, we're very in an orange high threat area. We better not talk too much about that or else we're going to shut you down.
Yep, that's it. That's what they're really saying. Don't talk too much about things that you might be able to do to stop them.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get your YouTube channel taken down, Bill. That's why I love all these people. They talk about how all these people get these YouTube channels taken down, and then like a day or two later, they're back up like full, 5 million subscribers and shit. It's all a big show.
It is.
It's all a big show. Trust me, I've gone through it. When they want to shut you down, they shut you down. They shut you down. Anytime I got close to a video going viral, bam, I get this little message.
Gone. Oops. Haley says no notifications again. Well, of course, no notifications. That's how YouTube works.
We have to figure out better ways than just social media and using their devices to communicate and to try and change things. Me and Bill have talked a million times. They're not going to allow us to get to a point to do anything to make a major change using their equipment, using their internet, using anything. You know, I mean, no matter what movement gets started or what anything happens, you know, they're going to do their best to infiltrate it, shut it down, or whatever.
That's it.
And you know, so we got to think of outside the box as ways to get things done. You know, I think one of them was, you know, me and Bill talked about it. You know, all this new laser inscribing, I wanted to, you know, get to the point where people can, you know, we didn't take any money for it. We just, you know, sold it for whatever it cost. People can order, you know, inscribed tablets, you know, whether it was granite or whatever they wanted on, so they can have truth, laser inscribed. So, you know, and put it in a little folder or whatever on stone, because stone's the only thing that's going to last through time. And, you know, so the true stories about what's going on. You know, and then also have a story on there to make sure that people in the future know not to trust their masters, and to make sure that they have the most regulations put on them, that the people have the most freedom. You know, I mean, so they can hand it down to generations they have. We need, you know, they're putting up these memorials. They constantly put up memorials and lies for the future. All right, and they program everybody to believe the lie, but yet they still know the truth. So that's retained knowledge. We need to put up a memorial, do something for the truth. We need to pass down truth, because the only way that's going to stop these people is knowing that other people know the truth out there, and that it's somehow going to be able to be passed down, so that they're always suspicious of these people.
Well, that's exactly it. You know, if you can get a memorial for truth put together, you know, that would make a big difference, because a memorial for truth, I'd love to put it right next to the memorial for Sandy Hook. So people could read both of them.
Knock that thing down. Yeah, I'll say it. I'll take a big, you know, I get a chance, I'll take a big giant shit on
it. Go spray paint their cameras black and take that thing out. Of course,
I know that area, man. I can get in and out of there so quick.
Yeah, the one for Sandy Hook Elementary School that they're going to be putting up. They're going to put a memorial up for all the children that didn't die. What's the official lie?
Oh. You know, they're laughing, and not only that is they're, you know, the worst part is they're taking money to do it. You know, I feel guilty when I try to get, you know, money for, you know, going to the protests or getting money to get back on my feet or whatever was done to me. And these people don't feel guilty about stealing money to put up a lie. See, to me, it's amazing, because I feel guilty with whatever, you know, every freaking dime that anybody's ever given me. I don't know how these people live with themselves. It just still boggles my mind. So, I mean, to me, it's got to be MK Ultra or something like this, because how the fuck can a human being be okay with what they're doing?
It's evil. As evil and twisted as it is, would you have no freaking care at all? No common sense? You know, we live in a society where you listen to everybody complain about Hollywood and the pedophiles and the children and the pedophiles, and protect our children. Our children is our future. What future? Your children don't have a future if we don't stop this.
Well, that's the crazy thing, though. They complain about all these things, but what have they done? What have you know, I mean, you think the meme is going to change the world when they got computers and bots that are putting out opposite memes twice as much?
Yeah, I mean, okay, Jerry, I got it. I got the cure. We're gonna go up on YouTube, and we're gonna leave a comment. That'll change the world.
That'll do it. It's gonna change it all. Do it. Yeah, it's all done. Don't worry about it, Bill. I got this. I'll comment. Here's the thing: is, you know, these people are scared people, and you know, I can understand where people, you know, they've made it so people become well adjusted in their situation, that they're, you know, don't want to lose any more than what they already had. And I understand there's a lot of people out there in situations where they, you know, it's really not a good thing for them to do anything, especially with families and everything else. But what bothers me is when there's able-bodied people, and I don't mean sexist or anything like that, men or women, but that won't go. I'm a double amputee, and I'm going to a freaking protest. You think I enjoy standing on the fucking side of the road? You think I enjoy it? I don't enjoy that shit. Think I'm going to do it, but I'm doing it. And it pisses me off when there's able-bodied people that can do this shit way easier than I could. Way easier than I could. And they don't do shit. That's an insult to me.
Well, but that's what you have. You people don't want to take the responsibility to try to do anything. And that's the majority of the people. And you're never going to change nothing. So, I can get sick real quick when I hear you talk about your children's future and how much you love your children. But at the same time, you're not willing to get up and go do anything that's going to save your children's future.
You got to remember this. A lot of kids, if kids are young or something, you don't always tell them about the world events or anything else. But, someday, what if they had a family and they happen to be in the Connecticut area and they, happen to pop by the Sandy Hook Memorial? What are they going to say? Oh, poor kids. They're not going to know the truth.
No, they're not.
They're not. They're not going to know the truth at all.
They're going to be taught the lies that are wrote into their history books from the school system. They're going to go by and see this memorial, and they're all going to be sitting there, oh, these poor kids. Look how evil these people was. And the entire time, no kids died. It's a phony baloney story.
And right next to where they put this memorial, like I said, Heritage Village, a private Jewish community where known Mossad agents live. The self-professed kings of the false flag are going to be sitting there laughing at the stupid goy, because that's what they call everybody.
Yeah, and Haley.
Well, they're taking your money, and let me tell you something. I've been to Heritage Village with my mother when I was a kid, and going to eat there, and it's quite exquisite. So when they're taking your money, that you think they're, donating it for sandwiches or whatever for the people I need. No, they're eating caviar and champagne, laughing at you. And if you don't think I'm telling you the truth, you come to the protest. I'll take you over to Heritage Village. I'll show you. You don't believe me? You'll learn real quick.
And you get to find out what it really is and what the area really is. It would be lovely. I would love to go there when the time happens. I just can't guarantee it because I'm so far away.
Bill, trust me, I understand. I mean, some people are just not there. Here's the thing is, you're already making a commitment to, get the information out or whatever else. But I can't even get people with the information. They don't even want to talk about it because it's not the most popular crisis right now. Because Sandy Hook's old. Right now, it's more important to put up a meme about the Texas church massacre that bullshit happened, or the Las Vegas bullshit. You're chasing down leads what are you chasing leads? That's the thing about these people that want to investigate shit. Number one, they don't investigate things properly. And number two, what good is it going to do? Are you going to bust them? Are you going to put the cuffs on these people that are doing this shit? So what do you need to investigate these people for? Do they need to be investigated? Yeah. But the problem is, if we're not going to do anything about it, what's the use of even doing it? And that's what I'm saying to people. Now, if people want to do something about it, are going to do something about it, then investigate until you're freaking sick. But, they're just going to come out with another hoax that you're going to chase down more people, that you're just chasing down more shit. It's going to drive you nuts.
They're going to do their next false flag and their next false flag, and your attention's going to be turned to that, and your attention's going to be turned to that. Do you realize while you were all looking at the Texas massacre in that church, while you were all looking at that false flag, where our famous president that everybody thinks is going to save them was picking up where old George Bush left off and was going fucking, now they're working on going into Iran again? That's what was going on while your backs was turned and you were looking at the new false flag. So they're going to give you your next false flag while they step up their next plan and go into another country. And then they're going to step up that and they're going to kill innocent people over there. And we're going to take over another country while you're chasing a false flag in the United States.
How many people got, all this killing and murder, Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, Palestine, Yemen. We're at war in Yemen, and people don't even know we're at war in Yemen.
That's it.
They're killing people. starvation, bombing, carpet bombing.
The wars never stopped. You didn't even hear them bring up the war in the elections.
When's the last time somebody posted something about all these dying children, all these dying people that are dying constantly all day? You care more about the fake deaths?
That's really what it comes down to. Oh, I'm so sorry for them children at Sandy Hook. You know, you're going to care about the fake deaths while real deaths are going on. You're going to turn your back to the war that's not stopped, that they're escalating. And pretty soon that war is going to be on your streets.
What happened when ISIS started getting a lot of attention? That it was tied to the deep state. That it was tied to the CIA. False flag, false flag, false flag, false flag, false flag. It just kaboom. And they haven't stopped.
Yeah.
And nobody even talks about who they're killing anymore.
You better put your mind back on the war.
And then Trump's got everybody supporting the military. Yeah, is it great to support the military? Yeah. But they're also killing people, and these kids think it's great. They think they're defending freedom.
When they're not.
I don't know. Last time I was under threat by a starving kid in Yemen, or a starving person in Yemen. I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure I don't ever remember feeling threatened by a starving person from Yemen.
No, exactly.
Or Syria, or Afghanistan, or Iraq.
You know, in Iran itself, you know who gave them their nuclear program? The United States of America and Russia.
Just like Korea, North Korea, we gave them the technology too.
So we gave Iran their nuclear program to begin with, and now we're sitting over here telling all the people, oh, well, that they got nuclear program and they're not allowed to have, so we set them up. So we blatantly set them up. We give them something and then come back and say you're not allowed to have it?
You know, and if anybody's ever heard of the Samson option, it's where Israel, he's always threatened the whole world because they have so many nukes. There's over 200 or 300 nukes they have. That if their sovereignty is ever threatened, that they will launch on Europe, Russia, America, everywhere, and just blow up the world. That's how they did it with their Bolsheviks, with communism, and that's how they got the state of Israel. Now they're doing it with the whole world so they can steal more land.
Yeah, and Haley's right. Haley says the DOJ, the CIA, and the FBI is one big lie to keep us divided. Yeah. That's right, to keep us divided. People need to put their mind back on the war. What's really going on with the war? Where's our troops? What do they got? Our young children they took out of high school, and the recruiter came into the high school and pushed them into the military. Oh, you're going to become a man. You're going to grow up.
Julian Assange, Edward Snowden. You know, we know for a fact Assange was hired. He was an MK Ultra victim, and he was hired by Michael Aquino, Carl Michael Aquino, the Church of Satan guy. All right. Now, here's the other thing. You know, you got these. If you're the FBI, if you're the CIA, if you're, you know, NSA, any of these guys, who are you going to hire to do your intel? Who are you going to hire? You're going to hire MK Ultra victims because they're going to do what they're told. They're going to think the way they've been told to think.
Yeah.
You want to know where a lot of these people are? They're working for our government. They're working for our movies, our media, our local politicians. Any mid-sized and above city is 100% controlled by the deep state. Trust me on that.
And you got the...
You know, people don't want to accept that, but it's... You try and go meet some of these people when you talk to them. You can see they're 10 miles there. There's something wrong there.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you know, the sad thing is that so many people are hooked up on the tool, the money. And then you got all these shills up on YouTube. These plants that have been put there that are working for places like Raytheon and, oh shit, there's a whole list of them. You got Raytheon, you got the FBI,
Booz Allen.
Yeah.
That's another big one that's doing all this shit. Booz. You want to know who's sneaking in and doing all this shill shit and all that? You might want to start looking into Booz Allen Hamilton. Just saying.
Yeah. Start looking into places like that and start really opening your eyes when you're listening to people up on YouTube. And pay attention to what you're seeing. So you can recognize the shield because the shield's going to lie to you. Yeah, they're going to feed you some truth because they have to so that you'll bite like a fish on a line.
Well, I think we yelled at people enough tonight.
Yeah, I think so too. Tonight was.
Listen, everybody. I love everybody out there. I mean, I wouldn't fight if it wasn't for the fact that I just want a better, not to be all new agey, but we're all on this planet, and if you go across this country, there's someone I've traveled, forcibly recently. I was forced to travel, but there's beautiful places. We have beautiful coastlines, beautiful, mid-Atlantic. We have beautiful mountains, and this world's a beautiful place, and we're letting them steal its resources, poison us. And then they're the same. I mean, if you study anything with the Sierra Club and see how they're actually tied to the Nazis and they were formed by the Nazis, and the World Wildlife Foundation was designed by the Nazis, and all these places, and you don't start to understand. They want all this for themselves, and they'll poison and kill it just till we die out, so that they and their ancestors, their bloodlines, whatever, can have it. And that's not what this place. This is, I don't know, all the answers to how this world was created or anything else like that. But what I know is that we're all here together. And if we can't figure out how to make it a better place for our ancestors, what purpose do we even serve on this earth?
That's really it. And how people just want to continuously fight and fight through division over mindless fluff and stuff. There's no need for it.
No, there's no reason for it at all.
People really got to stop and back up and think. But I'm going to go ahead and call it. We wasn't planning a show tonight, but we came up here, Jerry and I did, and I thank Jerry. Jerry's a great person, and I thank him for what he does.
I try.
And I hope that people understand what I do and what Jerry do. We do from our heart. We don't do it for the tool. It's from our heart because we care. And we want what's right for everybody. And it has nothing to do with gender, has nothing to do with race. I don't care where you came from. We're all human beings. And we need to learn how to get along. Because this world would be a beautiful place. If we would
remind people before we leave, if you haven't noticed, if you see this high-tech technology that we got here, you see these people on YouTube, and they got green screens, and they got all this crazy, these $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 microphones, and they came out of the blue. You got to start thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
Start using your brain, because here's the thing: even if they're not a shill, they want to maintain their nice stuff, so it doesn't come. It's not about truth anymore.
No, and it needs to be about truth.
I rent my phone. I rent my tablet. So I don't even own it.
Yeah, I see that. We get all of 11 viewers, but I'm used to that because it's called Suppress the Truth Down.
Yeah.
Suppress the Truth Down.
And Facebook.
Yep, don't matter where you go. If you're telling the honest God's truth, you're going to be suppressed down because we are surrounded with liars and shills and idiots and morons. But hey, I'll be back up here again tomorrow night with Warren, but I won't be live up on YouTube. It'll be over on Blog Talk Radio. And then Jerry and I'll be back up here on Sunday. And then, of course, Monday I'll be back with the dating scene topics. But thank you all for being here. And I'm going to get on out of here. We're going to call the show and be done with it. But you all have a good one, okay?
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.